Hi, so this is a quick little video on a question that was asked on the Autodesk forums about how to transform a sphere into a cube during an animation. So these examples are achieved with three different techniques. These first ones use the shrink wrap node, and this third one is just using the poly smooth node. The problem with using the poly smooth is basically that you're not really updating the normals throughout the process. So the issue here you can see right now is it's completely soft around on the edges. What you can do is do propagate edge hardness, which does this, but then you will end up with these lines around here, which are basically where the normals are, so they're not updating. But if this works fine for you, then it's really simple setup. You would basically take a cube and take the poly smooth, just do like mesh and do smooth, and you will have to change the method from to exponential and the subdivision type to Maya Catmull Clark, and then you can use this divisions level to hone in the amount of divisions you want, and then you can use continuity to change the actual shape of the mesh. So that's a really quick and easy way to do it as well. I think I prefer this other one where you basically have a sphere that you shrink wrap to the desired object that plays a bit better with the normals, etc. So if we just hide this, so here you can see, if I go back out, you can see the verts moving in. And basically what's happening here is I'm using the shrink wrap, and on this object I've got projection set to vertex normal. I've also put on some shape preservation, because if you just use vertex normal you're going to end up with a pretty nasty line around here, and you're going to have a bit of like the same normal issue that we saw on the smooth face, because you're just going to have one line or like one edge going along the whole thing, because basically all of these are just going to find the closest straight down point, so they're all just going to go straight down and straight in. So for this I'd recommend to put on shape preservation and just do like one preservation. You can do more, but it will start to act up more and more. So you see like here now, starting to look a bit nasty when you come up to like 3 or more. 2 could be fine, I guess. Again, it all depends on what you want to achieve. The objects that I'm shrink wrapping to as well are a cube with just a tiny bit of bevel on it, which I do recommend. Because if I turn off the bevel and I have my sphere here, you can see that you start to get like really jaggedy results really quickly. If I do the offset on, you can see that this really helps just smoothen it out a bit. And you can really see this on the other one where I'm using the closest method, where they go straight in. But if sorry, let me do it on here because I turned off the bevel on the other one. So I use the closest method here, and I have the bevel off. You can see that we're getting some really nasty normals going around, and especially if you do like a 3 smooth, because you're having so much geometry that's gonna like be bunched up in this point. So if I just turn off this, you can see all of this geometry going straight in here and just being really nasty. So turn on like a tiny bit of bevel, and oh, sorry, keep forgetting that I'm on the one that has shape preservation off, and shape preservation doesn't really play well with closest at all. Yeah, so for closest, it actually works really well, even if you don't have a bevel. The point being is if you have if you use vertex normals, you can see you're gonna get this really harsh line throughout as well. So I have a bit of a play with the different projection methods. I normally just use vertex and closest, and also perhaps turn shape preservation on with 1 or 2 shape preservation, and see if perhaps a tiny bit of like 0.01 on a bevel just to give it a bit of a smoothed edge, if that helps as well. And I think that's the best things I've come up with so far. I can just give you a quick little demo on how we do it. So if I got this cube, and if we're going to use the smooth mesh option, it would be smooth, and we would set this to exponential, we change this to catmull, we change this to the poly amount we would do, and then you would literally just keyframe this, turn it up, and oops, sorry, didn't key, and that's it. And then if we do the shrink wrap method, see basically here the order is you select the object that you want to deform and then the object that you want to shrink wrap it to. So if you go into animation, create deform and shrink wrap, and we can do these to vertex normal or closest and then animate that. One of the things here is also you're gonna end up with a bit of issues if you use a sphere. That's something that I forgot to mention in my example. I'm using a subdivided cube because the issue that you will end up with here now is that you're gonna get a lot of triangles around here. So if I use vertex normals, you can see how the whole thing is now very, very jaggedy because you're going to end up with geometry like this. We're going to have some of it go in, some of it like overlapping. If you just set this to closest, it's just going to go straight down, straight in, and you're not really going to have that issue. So that can be an option as well. But the problem with this is when you use the closest, you're really going to see these like edges coming in, and you're like going to see this triangle, you're going to see this big face here. So when we do this, we can turn on, that's not really good, but you can see it coming in, especially like around here now, you've got a big triangle. If you want this to not show up like this, then you have to use vertex normals. And again, then you can't really use that with a sphere because it's going to look like this. So I hope that was useful, and I hope I covered some helpful tips and tricks with this. It's kind of late, so I'm just like ballparking it. Let me know if there's anything that was unclear, and I hope this helps you out. Bye.